Hello, Sandman Nation. We are back for yet another awesome episode. Pat is back with us too, so that means I no longer have to be on my best behavior. Life is good, but it is about to get even better because it is time to enter Sandman Sports. Last week we had not one but two special guests as Brandon Lewis and Mike Paston both filled in. Bill is still suffering from some European jet lag, so he's sitting out one more week, and because of that, we get Mr. Mike Paston back again. So great news for us. And of course, the best news of all is that after the saddest, loneliest week of my life, my good friend and one hell of a great podcast host, Mr. Pat Clutt, is back right where he belongs in front of that mic. Pat, great to have you back, sir. How was the golf trip?
It was good, but I don't know. There were no carts. So it was like
no carts. You had to walk?
No. So we had to walk all 4 days. And by day 4, I was like, this is stupid. I want to sit in a cart, get, bomb some drives, jar some putts, get blackout drunk, listen to 90s grunge at high volume and get after it. I'm not there to score the course record. So
it
was beautiful
this
course.
At?
Sand Valley, Wisconsin. So they got like tons and tons of acres in the middle of nowhere, and they're building all these courses, and they're immaculate, and they're just gorgeous. And it's hard to lose a ball because it's just wide open, and there's space everywhere. But yeah, the no carts was a bit of a downer, but it was good.
I wouldn't like that, dude, just because, like, how did you drink? Like, do you carry your drink
you
with
have
you,
like
or?
little push carts? You have these little push carts, so you can even walk them up onto the green. And I had enough space for a drink, but yeah, you'd get out there and you'd have your drink, and 4 holes later, you haven't seen there's no cart girl. There's just like certain spots along the course, they have beverage carts like sitting there, not moving. So they're in that's their permanent location. And so you'd try it. Yeah. It's hard to binge drink for a serious binge drinker.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully you did that in the evenings though.
Yeah, by then we get home, we're all gassed. We had in our group, there were 8 of us. There's a guy with a bad knee. There's a guy who had blisters on his feet. He couldn't.
Dude, at our age, man, and I know you're a little younger than me, but man, I could walk in 4 straight days. Did you play 18 each day, or did you play even more?
Yeah. Well, 18, and then one day they had this little par 3 course, and called the Sandbox, and that was fun. So we did like a 2-man scramble, 8 guys going off the same tee box. It was fun. But,
good.
So it was just like a mini par 3, and but yeah, man, that's a lot of golf. My cup's full.
It is. Yeah, I bet. Well, it is great to have you back, sir. Glad that you had a good time. And Mike, welcome back to you too, man. Great to see you again.
You can tell your guests the truth. I'm only here again because I never left. I've been sitting on this podcast now for a week.
You've just been sitting waiting. I love it, man.
I mean, you enter Sandman Sports. There's nothing called exit Sandman Sports. So I've been sitting here in this spot on this podcast now for a week. And we got to do this soon because I really have to pee. I mean, it's been a long week. So let's get it going here.
Let's get it going. Well, hopefully Pat remembers how this whole thing works, because we are going to put him in the spotlight immediately. It is time for random questions of the week. Pat, you get to start us off, but I you know what? I'm getting nicer in my old age, because these first ones are a little tougher and more open-ended. And I'm going to ask it to you, but then I'm going to go over to Mike and ask his questions. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about it before you have to answer. And then we'll come back to you. So your question is going to be, don't need the answer yet, if your life had a theme song that played every time you walked into any room, what song would it be and why? Okay, so give that some thought. Mike, your question is, this is a good one. Would you rather have all traffic lights you approach be green, or never have to stand in line ever again?
I am not a mellow driver, but I'm also not a easygoing line stander. So I will Never stand in line again.
Okay.
That'd be great.
That's it. That I would love both of those things to be true.
Yes.
I am the antsiest driver there is. Like, I hate traffic. I hate drivers. They all drive me insane. Pat knows this. We've talked about this on some of our pet peeves before. Most of my pet peeves occur in the car. So I would probably take the lights, but not standing in line again would be nice as well. Okay, Pat, what's the theme song, man?
Wow, that's a tough one. I might need an hour for this one just to get into it. Singing, maybe something heavy like some System of a Down or Marilyn Manson, Beautiful People.
Oh, dude, Marilyn Manson for you. Great, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
Something heavy though.
I mean,
we need to
see, I
let her rip.
don't look at you and think of like dark though, man. I think of you as like maybe some Frank Sinatra belting out little New York or something. I mean, come on, man.
I'm all over the dial. Like, I'll listen to Pavarotti and classical music in the mornings, but as the day gets going, usually by the end of the day drive home, it's something a little heavier.
Okay.
But I'm all over the dial. There's some.
Look at this, man. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
All right.
He's
Marilyn Manson.
That song's classic.
All right, man. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should start playing that for your walk-up song every time you appear on the podcast. Should see if we can get rights to that. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, there are no theme songs and there is no Marilyn Manson on our website, but there is a lot of great content. So be sure to check us out at SamianSports.com for all kinds of insightful sports and betting related articles, videos, and of course, this podcast, which I guess does kind of have a theme song for the opening. We have several college and pro football articles published every day, from NFL and college football weekly roundups, where we react to last weekend's action, to best bets and predictions for the upcoming weekend. We have power rankings, Heisman heat checks, winners and losers, and all kinds of fantasy football coverage, if that's more your style. We've also got our Samian Legend picks, and our St. Louis Syndicate is back with their weekly video series, and a ton more. So be sure to visit our site every single day to catch it all. And of course, we'd love you to follow us on all of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, all at Enter Sandman Sports. Okay, guys, so let's get in the opening. It's going to be football related. I spent all Sunday watching football, and it got me thinking, just laying there on the couch, watching all kinds of games, good games, bad games. Love the NFL Sunday Ticket, love Red Zone. But just a simple and timeless question kept popping into my head. We're 4 weeks in now, or I guess 3 weeks in, NFL season, about to start week 4. I just want to know, what division do you guys think is the best right now, from top to bottom? Every division has 4 teams. You can take this in whatever direction you want, how the teams have played so far, how you project them to finish the season, amount of star power, overall reputation, coaching pedigrees, really anything that makes sense to you and how you want to determine this. And then on the flip side, I want to ask you which division you would put at the bottom. If you're ranking all 8 from top to bottom, which one is the weakest and why? And then I have a follow-up question after we go through those 2, but I'll wait before I ask that one. So, Pat, why don't you start us off? What do you think's the best NFL division right now?
NFC North, hands down. I mean, last week, everyone's thinking Packers are the greatest team in the world. They obviously took a step back, but they're still solid. Detroit looked really good. That offense is back, rolling. Vikings defense, you saw what we did to the Bengals, and that if we can put up 16, 17 points every week, that defense, that's all we need. And then Bears actually aren't that bad. Bears are pretty decent. If Caleb Williams can dial it in a little bit, I think they're pretty good too. So I think I would pick that NFC North, because you don't have a bottom team, like a team that I think is worse in the league. So I mean, all 4 teams are probably in the top 15, I would say.
Yeah.
Top half of the league.
I think that's pretty good analysis. Mike, you agree, or you got a different one?
I agree with the philosophy, and I think it's close, but I'm going to go NFC West.
Yeah.
49ers, Cards, Hawks, Rams, all decent teams. They're 9-3 so far, and the only one loss outside the division was this week's Rams to the Eagles, which the Rams had won. but
you knew Mike had to bring. You knew Mike had to bring that up. Mike
yeah, we had to get that in there. Miracle finish as an aside.
Bad beat. What a terrible
bad beat Central, dude. What a freaking awful beat.
Unreal.
No 300-pounder can run like that. That's ridiculous. That
yes.
But no, when Hurts, Barkley, and the two receivers, Smith and Brown, all play full games together, they're 18-0, which is really incredible.
Oh wow!
But that's the only loss other than to each other that they've had this year in that division. So that's pretty impressive. And I think Pat's right. You look at the bottom. As long as you don't have a really bad team, the division's strong. So they can fight. We'll find out. I think 49ers always have injury issues, but the Cards always hang in there every game. The Rams, I think, are a real good team, and the Seahawks are probably better than we thought they were. So we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you both. I think that's the two that it boils down to. I kind of looked at this like if I'm a brand new team and I'm coaching that team and we have to be placed in any of the 8 divisions, which one would I avoid and which one would I love to be placed in? So for me, I think the one I would want to avoid the most, meaning it's the toughest, I think it does come down to those two. I think I would go with the NFC North. I do think Green Bay and Detroit are both legit Super Bowl contenders. Minnesota is going to fight for a playoff spot. I think they're always dangerous. And in Chicago, they looked great against Dallas. Ben Johnson is going to turn that around sooner rather than later, in my opinion. They're a consistent team that I think a lot of teams that play them are going to have to worry about. Now, you did mention the NFC West. I'd say they're a 1B. You mentioned the 9-3 record. There's just no real scary team among the 4, whereas with the Packers and the Lions, it's like I don't want to play either of those. None of the 4, though, are pushovers or easy wins you can count on. So I think from top to bottom, that is probably the most balanced division. I mean, all 4, including the Cardinals and Seahawks, could easily make the playoffs this year. No one surprised me. Now, I think any of the 4 I would bet on to make or win the Super Bowl? No, but it's definitely the most balanced. But if I think the number 1 best division, I would go with NFC North, but it's close.
Great.
What about worst division? What do you got there, Pat?
NFC South.
Okay.
And you got the Bucs. You got the Bucs at the top, and I think the Bucs are fine, but I don't think they're amazing.
I agree.
And that's their front runner. You got the Panthers, Carolina, although Carolina took down Atlanta 30 rip. Penix on the bench.
Outside of the Bengals loss, that was the most surprising.
That was shocking.
Loss. Yeah, that was shocking. Yeah.
Well, and the Browns loss was pretty shocking. There were a couple shocking ones, but this one, after the way the Falcons played the Vikings, it's the NFL week to week. You can't predict it sometimes. Yeah. But and then you got the Aints at the bottom. So there's just nothing good happening in the NFC South.
Yeah.
So,
what about you, Mike?
That's traditionally been the choice, but I'm going AFC East. You have the Bills; they're good, but the other 3 teams, the Pats, Jets, and Dolphins, are just terrible. The Pats win over the Dolphins was the big win, and that's in the division. I don't think anyone's outside of the Bills. They're 1-8, and the only one is the interdivision game, and they're 0-5 at home. None of the other teams have won a home game yet. That's pretty pathetic. The division's over. The Bills win. It's it. Week 3, just hand them the division championship. The other 3 teams are going to scramble to win 5 or 6 games. It's really bad.
Yeah, I honestly can make the case for 4 different divisions. I think the NFC South, you mentioned, Pat, they have the undefeated Bucs, but how good really are the Bucs? And I do think the Falcons are still going to be okay, but the Panthers and Saints are not good. You had mentioned the AFC East. Yeah, after Buffalo, you just have nothing but bad teams, although hopefully the Patriots turn it around. I also think the AFC South is not very good either. I know you got the Colts surprisingly sitting at 3-0, but how good are they really? Titans at 0-3. The Texans are bafflingly bad at 0-3 as well, and the Jags I think are going to be better than most people think, sitting at 2-1. But who knows? But guys, I don't think this is shocking. I don't think the AFC North is immune to being in this conversation, which is crazy because I think at the beginning of the season, most might have said this is near the toughest, but the Bengals are downright awful. Seriously, but they may not win 3 more games all season. And by the way, guys, listen, do you realize that the Bengals started their franchise in 1968? We can all remember so many bad years when they were the Bengals, just atrocious, laughingstock of the NFL. So bad. Well, this past Sunday, when they lost to Pat's Vikings 48-10, that 38-point deficit is the largest in the history of the Cincinnati Bengals. So yeah, it's going to be a long season in the Queen City. The Steelers have no right to be 2-1. The Browns have a good defense, but aren't going to win many more games. And who the heck knows what is going on with the Ravens? They're 1-2 now. Their 2 losses, to be fair, have been against the Bills and Lions, so it's forgivable. But they're giving up a lot of points, which is a little scary. So I would go with the NFC South. I think they probably are the worst, because I'm not convinced the Bucs, even at 3-0, are that good. But yeah, I think the AFC North is definitely the most disappointing division so far this year.
Your Bengals are disappointing, but they're not as bad as you're making them out to be. They still play the Browns twice, so give them that. And they can win.
They already got one of those wins against Cleveland, so
they can win 7. They'll be all right. They're not. It's never as bad as it
thank you for talking me off the ledge, but I don't know if that's true. So, all right. So real quick, guys, I do want to go to the college game because there's also another timeless debate, and let's just start with the SEC versus the Big Ten. Every year, it's which conference is better. And I think for so long, the SEC was really the right answer. Although the last couple years, I think you certainly could argue the Big Ten, because both the champions, Michigan and Ohio State, in the last 2 years won it all. But I would love to just know, between those two, who do you get right now this season? Again, you can use whatever criteria you want. What's the better conference, Pat?
Well, the Big Ten did bring in Oregon, so that helped. That gave them a boost.
Yeah,
a couple of years back. Penn State's solid, but I don't think they can compete with the SEC if it comes down to it. If they played head to head, they're number 1 ranked all the way down the line. I think SEC wins. You got too many big time programs. Georgia, Bama, fucking Miami. They're good.
Miami.
Not Miami.
Or not Miami. Sorry. You got Texas.
Not Texas.
Yeah.
Alaska.
Yeah, the Alaska Fighting Oilmen. Yeah, they're tough. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think
I forget about Rhode Island. Don't sleep on Rhode Island.
Don't sleep on the Rams. What do you think, Mike?
I'm with the SEC. 10 of the top 20 teams are in the SEC, and Mississippi State should also be in the top 20. That's 11 of 20 from one conference. They're 41-5 in non-conference games so far. Pretty damn impressive. And of course, they're going to beat each other up, but they're still, and I'm a Big Ten guy, but they're still ahead of the Big Ten. Big Ten has 7 in the top 25 and 5 in the top 10. So if you look at the top 10 alone, you might say Big Ten, but going back to our criteria for the NFL divisions, I think there's a bigger drop-off in the Big Ten than there is in the SEC. So I'll stick with the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you guys. This is hard because as much as I try not to be a homer, I do have Big Ten blood in me, and I just like that conference so much better. But I think if we're looking at this objectively, so let's just start with the top 3 teams. So you got number 1, Ohio State, number 3, Penn State, and number 6, Oregon. I think if you line those up against the SEC's top 3 teams right now, based on rankings, number 4, LSU, number 5, Georgia, and number 7, Oklahoma, I do think the Big Ten wins at least 2 of those 3 matchups, if not all 3. But then for the rest of the ranked Big Ten teams, you mentioned it, you've got number 11, Indiana, number 19, Michigan, number 21, USC, number 23, Illinois. The bottom feeders, though, are just really bad this year. You got UCLA, Northwestern, and Purdue. None of those 3 are beating any SEC team this year, in my opinion. And then in the SEC, you mentioned 10 of their 16 teams ranked in the top 25. The 6 teams not ranked are South Carolina.
Top 10
or top
20,
sorry,
not even
top 25.
Top 20,
Sorry. But the 6 teams not ranked South Carolina, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, Auburn, and Mississippi State, which was a doormat last year, but it's currently 4-0. All 6 of those teams are good teams. I mean, none of those are bottom feeders. None of them are bad. In fact, if you put those 6 against the worst 6 in the Big Ten, I think they win all 6, at least 4 or 5 of them for sure.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, if you're evaluating the entire conference, and if I'm using my criteria of being a new team and having to choose which one to go, I'd much rather play in the Big Ten. I just think from top to bottom, it's easier to eke out some wins week to week. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Appreciate that. I think the best and worst conferences and divisions always seem to be a debate-worthy topic. So I was interested to talk through and unpack some of that. But let's now get into the rest of the show in just a moment. We'll do Nailed It for week 3, and Bill gave me this week's questions again, so we're all set there. Then we'll share our hot takes. Then it's Stone Cold Locks time, where all of us should be pretty embarrassed, but none more so than Mike Paston. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. And finally, we'll wrap up the show with the top 5, which should be a fun, nostalgic one that I honestly have no idea what to expect with your guys' lists on that one. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, we'll have plenty of fun and shenanigans along the way, including Pat sharing his definitive ranking of airline snacks and why Biscoff cookies are the undisputed GOAT. See, Pat, you missed me last week, didn't you, man? You did. No. You can admit it. It's okay. No, you can admit it.
I didn't think about it once.
All right, gentlemen, it is time for the segment Sweeping America. It is time for Nailed It. We are back for week 3, and I will pinch hit again for Bill in a moment, share how we did, and he'll get us started with this, or I'll get us started with this week's questions. But first, just wanted to remind everyone that we also launched the listener competition for Nailed It last week. The winner this year will win a trip for 2 to Vegas during Masters weekend. But to win that Super Bowl finale edition, you must first win a week of the regular season competition, so don't wait. We've had great turnouts in weeks 1 and 2. It only takes a few minutes each week to submit your guesses. It's free, and you can win a trip to Vegas for 2. Why not enter? There's no reason not to. Go to cmansports.com. You'll see a link to the page with a lot more details, including how to enter. And don't forget, all weekly submissions must be in by noon on Saturday Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So before we get into this week's questions, let's share how we all did last week. And guys, Are we a little short on time? We might have to fast forward here. Yeah. I am not starting this season off well with my Nailed It picks or my Stone Cold Locks. Not good at all. And I need to get things going and turn around ASAP. So I'm hoping things turn around. But mine, Brandon's, and Mike's competition, Mike crushed it. Mike, you actually crushed it, man. You got 4 points. Yeah, wow. You did well and nailed it. So you wear that proudly, man. Because when we get to Stone Cold Locks, you didn't do quite as well. That's the one we're gonna skip. Yeah. Brandon got 2 points because he had a nail, and I got 1. And then we're not going to read the answers to last week's questions, but if you play, you can see the entire sheet of picks each week and the answers as I mail them out, and you can follow that way. And then for me, Pat and Bill got 3, Pat got 2, and I got 1. So new season standings are Bill's at 6, Pat's at 5, Eric is way down in the cellar at 2. All right, let's get into this week's questions. You guys can just text me your answers. We'll go through these pretty quickly. Number 1, all right, Ohio State, my dreaded rivals. They travel to Washington, Bill's team, where him and his son are going to be in attendance. Can the Huskies pull it out? Bill doesn't think so, but it should be a good game to watch. The over-under is 51.5. The question is, how many total points will Ohio State score in that game? They've averaged 25.5 points per game against the 2 D1 teams they played. They scored 70 on Grambling. The Huskies have allowed 22.5 points per game against their 2 D1 opponents this year. So Mike said 37, Pat said 47. I said 24. I'm going a little lower scoring on that one. Okay. Number 2, LSU at Ole Miss, the 4-0 Kellys versus the 4-0 Kiffins. The over underline has moved from 56.5 to 54.5. That's a big jump. OSU does have a great passing attack with Neusmeyer. Ole Miss has been running the heck out of the ball with Kewan Lacey. Is it going to be more of a defensive tilt, though? LSU's defense has allowed only 9 points per game so far. Ole Miss just 19. So it could be lower scoring, but the over-under is 54.5. How many total points will be scored in this game? Okay. Paston said 45. Pat said 49. I went 59. So I went high scoring in this one. And then, okay, game of the weekend. Can't wait to watch this game. Oregon travels to Happy Valley. I'm sure Mike will be watching this one. Take on Penn State. Oregon has been stomping teams with their new quarterback, Dante Moore, but they've played Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, and Oregon State, so not a real tough test. Penn State's also been crushing teams, but they've played Nevada, Florida International, and FCS Villanova. Here's the question. How many combined passing yards will Drew Auer and Dante Moore throw for on Saturday? Auer averages 209 yards per game. Moore averages 241 yards per game. So how many will they throw for? All right. Pat went with 439 yards. Paston went 388. I went 480. All right. In our second huge matchup of the weekend, we got Alabama traveling inside the hedges to Athens to face the Georgia Bulldogs. Simple question. Doesn't matter who wins the game. That's not who we're asking for or what we're asking for, but what will the margin of victory be in this game? Georgia is currently favored by 3.5 points. Doesn't matter who wins, but what will the margin of victory be? Oh, Paston, you and I, we both went with 10. Yeah, we both went with 10. And Pat thinks it's going to be a nail biter with 2 points. Very well could be. And last but not least, we're going to go to the NFL on Sunday. Good old Micah Parsons returns to the Big D, face the Cowboys. Micah has 1.5 sacks in his first 3 games. How many sacks will he have in the Sunday Night Football contest? Now, remember, sacks can be half sacks. So your answer can be a whole number, or it can be include half sacks. All right, Paston went 2.5. Pat loves those 0 answers, and I'm just going with 1. I think, wow, Paston thinks Mike is going to come with a freaking vengeance. All right, guys. Well, that was good. Should be interesting. I don't know. Bill hasn't sent me his answers yet, but we'll get his, and should be another fun week. All right, well, let's get into hot takes. Yes, that's right. It is time for Sammy and Sports Hot Takes, brought to you by Double Take Salsa. When you think salsa, you probably think heat. Double Take flips that script. They start with flavor, fresh, high-quality ingredients that pop, and then add heat in perfect balance. The taste hooks you, and the spice makes sure you remember it. For anyone who claims to love salsa, this one is an absolute must. Head over to doubletakesalsa.com or follow them on Facebook and Instagram. All right, Pat Klett, what do you got? It is hot take time.
Hot takes. Well, I did talk briefly about part of my hot take earlier, which is the golf course not having carts. Okay. Like, you have to have carts. And
yeah.
It was quite a bit of walking. But anyhow, the other thing, I just thought, what a great Sunday of football. And I think my favorite part was the Packers loss at home. When you're up 10.
That was, I couldn't believe it.
I don't know if you saw that pass by Jordan Love, but it was, what is he thinking there? And it was the greatest, because they're at home, they're up 10 with 4 minutes to go, and to lose that game, oh man, it feels so good knowing that Wisconsin people everywhere are suffering. So yeah. And that just, I mean, that's the thing with the NFL, week to week, it's so hard to predict. But
that is the nice thing with the NFL, dude. Because I mean, you turn on in a college football game, and this could be over by the end of the first quarter or halftime. It's gonna be a blowout. Certain games, so obviously there's certainly upsets too. But an NFL game, man, even when you're favored by 14 points, the game is still going to be close for the most of the time throughout. So yeah, man, it's anything can happen. My son Brady texted me. I was watching all the games. I don't know how I missed this. I think maybe, I don't know. Certainly wasn't watching the Bengals at that point. Oh, I did have to walk away. I had to walk away for about 20 minutes and do something outside, but I came back.
Calm yourself down.
I had to calm
outside
myself down with the But he was like, dude, did you see the Browns? That's awesome. I'm like, no, what? They won? They were up the Packers were up. I couldn't believe that crushed a lot of people's Survivor hopes too. So
yes, yep. That was the other thing I was going to say. That Survivors, everyone who had Green Bay, which was a lot of people, that's a tough loss.
Yeah.
The other one, the Carolina 30 rip over Atlanta, though, that was
crazy, dude.
Week to week, it's just baffling how you can look so good one week and the next week nothing. So we'll see what happens with my guy Michael Penix and if Kirk Cousins. That's the other thing too, is having a good, solid backup. So huge if you have like a young quarterback. So Kirk Cousins could definitely come in and be very serviceable. You got the other one that I thought was key was us having Carson Wentz. I mean, it's so important to have that reliable backup.
Yeah. So we should actually. We might talk about that next week. If we rank like who are the best backup quarterbacks?
Who are the best backup quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Good question.
What about you? We know who the best backup podcaster is.
Yes, we do. Yes,
no doubt.
Thank you, Brandon Lewis.
We don't even have to say a name. We just call them out.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, what do you got, buddy?
All right. Before I start, had I not been so well prepared, I would have done a shout out to Bruce Pearl, my favorite basketball coach who has retired.
Love him.
Yeah.
So we'll save that for another day, but he's just fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bear with me here. I got two real hot takes going.
Let's hear it.
First is the Pac-12. They're calling this a conference still. Not a conference. Conference is the meeting of minds or an event where a number of people come together to discuss a particular subject or share information. Pac-12 has two teams. Two of anything is not a conference. Maybe it's a meeting. Maybe it's a conversation. This is like having a party where 20 people show up and have a great time. That's a party. The old Pac-12 was a party. Now it's 3 a.m. You have two guys passed out in your basement, big pile of trash, a bad smell. Everyone else left for the Waffle House or wherever they go these days. You don't look at those two people in your basement and say, wow, this is still a party. No, you say the party's over. How do we get these two out of here? Oregon State and Washington State are the two guys passed out after a party or after a conference. The party is over, damn it. Conference is over. Move on, Cougars and Beavers. They're going to play each other twice in November, twice in 1 month. College football teams don't play each other twice till you get to the playoffs. There's 201 college football teams, and these two guys have to play each other 2 times. That's not a conference. And
the good news is that's going to be wins for one of them.
Somebody, thank goodness.
They're finally going to win.
On it, as an aside, could Oregon State finally please change their mascot so I can look it up on my work computer? I mean, please. Please, do me a favor.
That is a great take.
All right, now hot take 2.
Man.
A little more serious, but please stick with me here, all right? University of Mississippi is referred to as Ole Miss, and Eric did it already today, by almost everyone but me. When you look up games or standings, every other team's listed by the team's name or school initials. The SEC, we have LSU, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Oklahoma Sooners. We also have Ole Miss Rebels. It should be Mississippi, not a nickname that comes from slavery. The name originated from a contest to name the yearbook in 1896, and it was used to address white mistresses of the plantation, the wife of the plantation owner. Now, I'm not one to cancel history or get into all that stuff. But we do need to recognize and deal with the past. And sports is probably the only place left where different people can get together and agree on something and cheer for the same thing. And it's not the nickname itself, but the fact that we've allowed it to replace the real name of the school. School has a pathetic history with respect to integration. Most troops sent to one place for a single disturbance in the history of the United States was the University of Mississippi when they had to admit a black student, which was already 8 years after the Supreme Court ordered it. 13,000 troops were sent there so that they could get the first black kid into the school. 13,000 troops. So in 2017, they actually replaced the rebel black bear with Tony the land shark as the mascot, which is a little progress, but no one really knows they did it. And it's interesting, the original name of the school was not the Rebels, it was the Mississippi Flood. But they had to change it because of the lasting harm of the flood in 1927. And so compared to slavery, that flood must have had a serious negative impact on society for us to change the name. I guess not. So one final thing to consider. The University of Mississippi student body's 12% black and 75% white. The football team's over 80% black. 61% of the black athletes graduate, 92% of the white athletes graduate. So as long as the wealthy white descendants of slave owner boosters sit in a luxury box, and mostly all black descendants of slave players bust their ass for them, I'm not calling them Ole Miss. Thank you for that.
Damn, that is a hot take.
That was a hot take for you.
Yeah.
I'm over here complaining about golf carts on a golf course.
Yeah, well,
you're just bringing the heat. I gotta work harder. I gotta work harder, and I gotta start bringing it.
Yeah,
man, he's good.
Well, I am not going quite as serious as that one, but I do want to talk a little bit about Mike Gundy. He was recently fired, one of the big first big coaching casualties of the year, fired yesterday from Oklahoma State, his alma mater, and the place he coached since 2005. He is a man, and he no longer has a job. I do want to give him some love, though. From 2005, when he started, to 2023, guys, he guided the Cowboys to 18 straight winning seasons. He had one Big 12 title, sustained national relevance during that time. He's the winningest coach in Oklahoma State history with a 170-90 record. And he went 12-6 in bowls, which is pretty darn good bowl record. He was never what I would call an elite coach, but he was very good, led his team to national relevance for a very long time. But here's the thing, guys, that I'm just sad about. Now, I'm not sad that they made the move from him. They needed to. They were awful last season. They just as bad, if not worse, this season. But it's more of just a startling trend for these old school coaches. The same strengths he leaned on for 20 years are now becoming liabilities. And it's just a sad trend that I think we're only going to keep seeing. The old school guys, the ones who built programs by relationships, continuity, identity, they're finding it much harder to keep up with the recruiting arms races, NIL, analytics, transfer portal velocity, modern offense and defense scheming. They either can't adapt or they refuse to, and neither of those answers are going to work in today's landscape. The game is changing, and these guys either need to get on board or get out. And we just saw, I think, what happened there with him. He had to get out. It wasn't his choice, but he was not adapting, and there's only going to be so much patience. I mean, that's the reason Saban walked away. It wasn't the game that he signed up for all those years ago. He didn't want to coach in that environment. And I feel like Dabo is wrestling with a lot of the same things. Gundy's era is coming to a disastrous end for many of those reasons. And I think it's sad. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of the old guard established guys like Kirk Ferentz, who, by the way, is the only current coach who started in the last century back in 99. Kyle Whittingham, Troy Calhoun, Dabo, who started in 2008 at Clemson, Mark Stoops. Those are the five most tenured. Will they adapt, or are they going to follow in Gundy's footsteps and either just call it a day, say they no longer want to do it, they got enough money and they don't want to put up with this shit, maybe go to the NFL or just retire, or are they going to
become an analyst?
Yeah. So, but Gundy, you were a good coach, man. I have a really good friend who is an Oklahoma State alum, and talked to him yesterday, and he was like, it's time for all, he's really the one who gave me the thoughts on a lot of that, like just to really think about, times are changing, and he just was behind. He was behind and wasn't adapting. So, all right, my hot take number 2, guys. It's not all that new for me, but it's an updated one. Travis Kelce is the worst. He was at it again Sunday, barking at Andy Reid on the sideline. I've said it before. I seriously cannot stand this guy. His ridiculously childish and entitled freaking behavior. Stop whining every time something doesn't go your way, and certainly stop yelling at your coach. He has officially passed everyone else on my list, and that is saying something because Angel Reese still exists. At some point, you're not fiery. You're just a clown, dude. You act like you're 15, not a future Hall of Famer, and that just... it irks me. And then finally, guys, I do want to give some love to a few quarterbacks turned announcers. You mentioned announcing, Pat. I want to start briefly with Tony Romo, who I know a lot of people don't like. He's not my favorite either, but I think he's better than most give him credit for. He's enthusiastic, energetic. I have no problem with him at all. But my two favorites, guys, are actually both Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And I want to start with Troy Aikman, who's been doing it forever with Joe Buck. He's just so polished, so poised, game aware, never oversells, explains things so cleanly. He's always so comfortable week in, week out. He just brings steady credibility. I love listening to that guy. He's so good. But the one I've been really impressed with, guys, is Tom Brady. For only being in the booth a couple years, I think he's fantastic. He's prepared, he's relaxed, even playful. He knows his stuff. He mixes detail with jokes. He stays light. He's breezy. And maybe this is just a personal preference, but I love his voice. There's something about his voice that I love Brady. He never seems to be forcing it. And I wanted to give him props, wanted to give Aikman some props, and even Romo. Last one, guys.
None to Gus Johnson, though.
No, hell no. I can't believe you even brought him up, dude. Why you gotta ruin such a good day?
My favorite.
So finally, guys, I'll keep this. The Reds are in a playoff hunt with less than a week to go. Thank you. We're heading to the game tonight. It's going to be packed. It's amazing how fast fans show up when the team is actually good. Why can't more front offices figure this out? Winning puts people in the seats, which means more money for the team. It is not complicated. That's all I've got for now. I'll write more about this next week in my 6-pack with just how cool it is that the Reds are in it and give a little recap of this week. Hopefully it'll be good news, but we'll see. Either way, it's awesome. Be at the end of September and still be rooting for my baseball team.
Nice.
All right, guys. It is now stone cold lock time. And Mike probably wants to step away for a little bit on this one. Let's just say week 4 was another big struggle all across. Paston and Brandon, our two guest hosts from last week, they both went 1-2. And normally I don't like to pile on our guests when they give bad advice, but I'm going to make an exception for you, Mike. You gave us your lock of the year last year with Florida International giving 6 to Delaware. Final score, Delaware 38, FIU 16.
Sad. And I knew it was over before it started, because when I looked at that game, it was 6.5, and it dropped to 5.5 the day before, and it was 4.5 at game time. And I said,
yeah, that's always scary.
Well, already saw this podcast, and they're all piling money on the other side because they saw what I said. And I knew the minute before they kicked off, I actually texted my son who went to Delaware, and I said, congratulations. You guys won. Yeah. I mean, I know you already won this game. I'm going to look like a fool. I'm not sure why I'm doing back-to-back weeks on the podcast. That's really when you sign up for punishment. I'd like to go to an every other week format if that's possible. But,
Mike, I would start out small with lock of the day, maybe lock of the hour, and build yourself up to lock of the year.
See, that was a rookie mistake. That was the bravado this guy has. He comes in his first appearance in a while. He's like, I'm going to give you the lock of the year.
Yeah.
You gotta back that up, guy. You gotta back that up. Man.
Well, all right, I'll go for like the lock of the morning this time.
Lock of the morning.
There you go.
Lock of the morning.
I like it. So, Pat and Eric, we didn't do it really good either. We went 1-2 as well. So 4 of our 5 went 1-2.
One of mine was the Rams, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. That was a bad beat.
Stinger.
Yeah, that was awful, dude. Bill was the only bright spot. He went 2-1. Our season records now are Bill 7-5, Pat 6-6. I am 4-7-1. guys, we are now into week 5. I cannot use the early in the season excuse anymore. So we got to do this. We got to bring it started this week. I need a 3-0 week right now. So let's get into it. Pat, lead us off, man. What do you got?
All right, I got a lock of the minute, lock of the hour, lock of the day.
Okay, good. Let's start
lock
with
of the minute. We're going to start with Chicago at Vegas is a pick 'em. And I'm going to pick Chicago here. I feel like that last week's win inspired them. Vegas, Vegas, not really a good hometown. I don't know. I feel like our fans travel well to Vegas. Let's just put it that way. There'll probably be a lot of annoying Chicago people there. I think Chicago wins that one. I think Ben Johnson's got the crew believing, and that's my lock of the minute.
All right, lock of the minute. All right, well, Mike's got the lock of the century, I think, coming up.
Mike's
here.
been locked out of his house or something here. All right, my first one: Chargers -5.5 at the Giants. Spreads down from 6.5. Russell Wilson has 3 TDs and 3 interceptions. Justin Herbert has 6 TDs and 1 interception this year. Chargers are giving up 21, 20, and 9 points, playing good defense. Giants have given up 21, 40, and 22 points. And the 40 was to the Cowboys, who have only 2 other touchdowns in their other 2 games. But for the travel, the Chargers should beat the Giants by 20 points.
And Russ isn't starting. Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart starting.
They'll only beat them by
Jackson Dart,
17.
which I think helps that line, helps
probably.
That. I mean, I think Dart's going to be good.
Yeah,
but eventually, rookie quarterbacks, man, you just
Chargers ever. That's pick number 1.
I like it. Well, guys, before I get into my picks, it's an exciting week because now that we've hit week 4, there's been enough of a sample size for me to roll out my annual spreadometer look, which basically tells us the teams that are undefeated against the spread and those that have not covered yet against spread. And I'm talking strictly college football. Next week we can talk about NFL as well, if that applies, because we'll be 4 weeks in for them. But so let's take a look at these. It's always fun to see which team goes the longest through in the season before not hitting a spread. So we'll bring these up each week going forward. The undefeated against the spread teams with 4 or more games are Memphis, Louisiana Tech, Utah State, Mississippi State, and the Vanderbilt Commodores. On the flip side, the list of 0-4 against the spread squads. These guys have yet to cover much longer list here. Kansas State, Sam Houston State, Clemson, Oregon State, Georgia State, Virginia Tech, Liberty, and SMU. And yes, one of these teams will be getting a play against them on my card. So we'll get into it and find out which one. It is not my first one. I am going back to some of the staples I typically look at. And one is, and I just mentioned it with the Chargers, what good teams are playing teams with younger or first-time quarterbacks? So in the Duke-Syracuse game, this matchup was supposed to be a quarterback showcase. Steve Angeli of Syracuse, 2nd nationally in passing. Darian Mensah, Duke, 3rd nationally in passing. Both have more than 1,300 yards on the young season. But unfortunately, Angeli got injured in the 3rd quarter versus Clemson. He's out for the season. In steps backup Ricky Collins. He did throw 1 touchdown in that game, but was overall very underwhelming, in my opinion. Syracuse went scoreless in the 4th quarter. Duke's offense is rolling. They just won over NC State 45-33. They're 2-2, but their 2 losses are pretty respectable as they came against Illinois and Tulane. Neither defense is great. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Without Angeli, though, I just don't see the Orange keeping pace. So we're going to take Duke and give the 4.5 points up in Syracuse. All right, Pat, what do you got for number 2?
All right, number 2, I'm staying in the division for my lock of the hour. Detroit giving 8.5 against Cleveland.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's Detroit, I like that, but
Detroit looked so good last week. If Cleveland didn't win, this number would probably be like last week. This number would probably be like 13. I think it's a no-brainer here. Detroit is going to roll. Their offense is just so good.
Dude, that is a great pick.
Cleveland's
defense is great, but Cleveland's defense is great, but I just think the Lions' offense is great as well, and Cleveland's not moving the ball. They're just they're. I mean, even in their win, they only scored 13 points. So I mean,
David Montgomery, man, he looked angry. He was running hard. Last week, and it's to have him.
I'm telling you right now,
as that 1-2 punch. Look out,
Lions, Bills, Super Bowl. Put money on it right now. It's happening. Those are the two best teams, in my opinion. All right, what do you got, Mike?
All right, number 2, college. I'm going to go with Rutgers plus 2.5 at Minnesota. Rutgers is putting up some points, 34, 45, and 60. And they have one loss to Iowa, where they scored 28. This guy, there's a wide receiver named Ian Strong for Rutgers, exceptional player. And in 4 games, the quarterback has 7 TDs and the top running back has 7 TDs. I mean, that's some real serious power at the skill positions. Minnesota has played well, given up only 34 points over 4 games, but they lost to Cal, and Cal got blown out by San Diego State 34-0. So if you follow the dots, Minnesota's not really very good, and Rutgers is at least on the upswing a little bit. So I think this is Rutgers' game right here.
Good call.
All right, Rutgers plus 2.5, going against the Golden Gophers. All right, guys, here's my spreadometer pick of the week. Virginia Tech is 0-4 against the spread this year. They are just downright bad. That streak is not being broken this week. They recently fired head coach Brent Pry. Their only win has come against 0-4 FCS Wofford or Wofford or however you pronounce it. They have terrible ball security. They average 2 turnovers per game. NC State's offense is very, very good and balanced. Running back Hollywood Smothers is 5th nationally in rushing, and the quarterback CJ Bailey's 15th nationally in passing yards. Balanced, motivated after a 12-point road loss to those Duke Blue Devils I just mentioned. But they are now back home in Raleigh with a potent offense. I think they are going to really take care of business against terrible Hokies. So NC State minus 10.5 just seems very manageable to me. So that's my second pick.
Nice.
All right, Pat, number 3.
Minnesota, you know it. Lock of the century. In Ireland versus Pittsburgh.
What's the spread?
They're 2.5 point favorites.
They're given 2.5. Lock of the century. Wow. How did we go from lock of the minute, hour, and day to lock of the century? Wow.
It's just a lot of confidence with Wentz at quarterback, just steady, right the ship. He's just going to do what he needs to do, manage the game, and let the defense go to work. Yeah.
Sounds like Pat might be making some of his coffees Irish there this early in the morning.
Because any quarterback who started 5 years in a row on 5 different teams is my guy. I mean, that's just beautiful. Wentz.
Mike,
6.
Mike,
it's
are you here next
The
week?
Vikings were 6. Yeah.
I want to be able to say dumb things without Mike scolding me. This is very important.
I know. You are used to being able to do that.
I know I'm dumb, Mike. I don't need people to tell me I'm dumb. I was saying, what I say, Miami was in the SEC earlier. Look, there's not a lot going on in here, Mike.
And they are so thankful they are not in the SEC. The best team in the ACC is like what, 12th in this SEC? So, You're not dumb.
Right.
You're
no, Pat.
A good fan.
Slow.
You're a good fan, and you're optimistic. And you know what? Go ahead. Beat them. Beat them in Ireland. Why not? Why not?
Slow's a good way to describe you, Pat. I like that. I can get behind that.
I mean, my only worry is that the Wentz's hospital is going to be so far away from Minneapolis. And, they're going to have to get him home later in the week, and it's just going to be rough,
Well, no, they don't, because they play in London the next week, so we're not coming
they
home.
stay over.
Excellent. He
so
can meet him
you don't have to worry about that.
That's good planning. Sure, the insurance company probably demanded that. Cut down on their expenses. It's good. Smart. Very smart move by the league. Good. I hope they win. I mean, I like the Vikings. Let's do it.
Yeah.
What do you got for number 2, Mike?
I think 3. Three.
Or 3.
Ravens.
Sorry, number 3. Yeah.
I'm going with Ravens -2.5 at the Chiefs. Ravens need the win. The only downside here is the road trip after the Monday night game, but I'm willing to look past that. They lost to the Bills by 1, 41-40. They lost to the Lions because of that late fumble, 38-30. Both teams are 1-2, and both expect to be in the playoffs. The issue is the Ravens still appear to have a lot of talent, at least on offense. The Chiefs are falling apart, and I don't think the line's adjusting quick enough. They've been so good for so long that people still expect them to rise up here. And that gap in time presents opportunity. Chiefs have scored 17, 21, and 22 points. Their high score this season, 22 points, and that was against the Giants, which is sad. And the Chiefs could easily be 1-5 when they play the Raiders in week 7. They have Ravens this week, Jaguars next week, and the Lions the week after that. So I would not be surprised if they're 1-5 and that they don't beat the spread any of those weeks. Mahomes has 3 TDs in 3 games. Only player on the team with over 100 rushing yards for the season. Think about that. The Chiefs have one player with 100 rushing yards for the season, and it's their quarterback who isn't throwing for touchdowns. They have one wide receiver with a touchdown, period. Kelsey's in a bad mood. Butker's missed 2 of 5 extra points, and that's not, if they were good, we'd be talking about that. And they're 17th in total yards behind teams like the Patriots, Cowboys, Giants, and Bears. The Chiefs, we have to admit, are just really bad. And when you're really bad and 1-2, you don't want the Ravens showing up. And a Ravens team that is probably really pissed off after the last game. I think the Chiefs are going to get the crap beat out of them by the Ravens. That's pick of the morning, or maybe the day. Maybe the day. But we're going to find out if I'm right. If the Chiefs are as bad as I think they are, this could be a beatdown, and the dynasty is officially over.
Yeah, that is good analysis, man. That all makes sense to me. I'm convinced. I might have to put a little dime on the Ravens. What'd you say? -2.5?
-2.5.
Yeah.
But my disclaimer, just like last week before my big pick, is my picks are only good on Monday. Don't follow them before the game. Look at them after the game.
All right.
They can get expensive. They can get expensive.
All right, guys. So for my third one, finally, you guys know how I've said Zach Calzada, Kentucky's quarterback, is the worst quarterback in the country, and yet he remained the starter, but no longer. Mark Stoops finally came to his senses and started redshirt freshman Cutter Boley now as a starter. But I still love South Carolina -6.5. Boley will be making his first road start, travels to South Carolina, who's been somewhat disappointing from a record standpoint, sitting at 2-2. But both losses came against undefeated teams versus Missouri and Vanderbilt. Quarterback Lenora Sellers returned last week, looked back to healthy form. He threw for 302 yards and 2 TDs at Missouri. The Gamecocks are more talented. They're at home. They're facing a freshman quarterback with limited weapons around him. I really like the Gamecocks giving less than a touchdown here, so we'll give the 6.5. All right. Well, let's move on to our top 5 for this week, guys. So last weekend, I bought some Planters peanuts, gentlemen. And as I was snacking, I noticed their iconic logo, their gray mascot, Mr. Peanut. And you got to just love everything about this guy. The name, and fun fact, by the way, his full proper name is Bartholomew Richard Fitzgerald Smythe. Okay, so He's got that going for him. He's got the top hat, the monocle, everything about that look just makes him a classic mascot. And of course, the product is great too. You got to love those peanuts. So it got me thinking, let's rank our favorite brand mascots of all time. It can be for any reason you want: the way they look, the product they represent, their longevity, pop culture impact, or just a personal favorite. So that is what we are going to do today. Pat, lead us off, number 5 and 4.
Well, I normally don't like to use your suggestions, but I'm going to go number 5, Mr. Peanut, just so we can shout out having to do the sit and reach, how many pull-ups you could do, the Mr. Peanut. Did you guys have that in grade school?
No.
Mr. Peanut. No, it was like our maybe it's a Minnesota thing, but like our gym classes, there during 1 week, they'd have to do like assessments of your athletic ability. And it was like the Mr. Peanut Awards. And you'd have to do like a sit and reach and try to touch your toes, and then they'd measure how far you could get, how many pull-ups you could do for boys, how many arm bar hangs you could do for girls. You guys didn't have this, like a 40-yard dash, Mr. Peanut Awards?
I mean, I do not remember Mr. Peanut sponsoring any of that. I remember doing many of that things.
We did it, but there was no Mr. Peanut involved.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's weird. Maybe it's a Minnesota
that
thing.
award was given out in the boys' locker room, and that's so inappropriate these days.
So, but before you move on, Pat, so we're gonna try something that has been very popular in past recent podcast episodes here, especially with our sports rants. Now, I will just say we may have to end up editing these out because sometimes YouTube gets a little weird with their videos, but I've pulled some clips of some of these old commercials and old mascots for ones that I picked and ones that I thought maybe you guys would pick. So we're going to show a few of them here, and then just we may have to re-edit this and take these out, but for now we're going to play a little Mr. Peanut. Let's do it.
At Planners, we know how to throw a remarkable holiday party, just serve classy snacks, and be a gracious host, no matter who shows up. Richard, didn't think you were going to make it.
Hey, sorry about last week. I don't know what got into me.
Yeah, well, forgive and forget, kind of. I don't think so.
Do you like nuts?
All right.
Very good.
Mr. Peanut. Yeah. All right. What do you got for number 4, Pat?
All right. Number 4, I went with the Geico Gecko. I'm not like a huge fan of the Geico Gecko, but he is there every week. It's probably the most used sponsor at watching football. And he's all right. You know, he's got a nice little accent, but he's been around a while. So just for this pure staying power, the fact that he's still going, like the Taco Bell dog, Yo Quiero Taco Bell, that guy only lasted a year. The Geico Gecko's on like year 10. So
at least, he's been around.
Just for the longevity, you got to go with the Geico Gecko.
I love it.
He's been 26 years already.
Wow,
26 years.
Yeah. He was my number 5 as well. And the amazing thing about Geico is their ads before that were the cavemen, but were also iconic.
I love. I was just you just made me think of the cavemen. I'm like, damn it! I wish I would have. I forgot about them. They're
they had the cavemen, and then they've had the gecko now for all these years. That's pretty impressive advertising.
I can't believe I did not pull a gecko commercial, guys. I did not. It did not cross my mind. So my miss.
That was 5, and my number 4 choice is a great choice. Tony the Tiger, been around since 1952. And in looking into this, he replaced other mascots for Frosted Flakes: Kate the kangaroo, Elmo the elephant, Newt the gnu, and Tony has a son, Tony Jr., and he has a mom called Mrs. Tony and a daughter, Antoinette. I didn't know any of that, and I don't know how Mrs. Tony, that's his first name, but she became Mrs. Tony. But anyway, he's iconic, probably the most well-known cereal, and there's a lot of good cereal mascots here, but Tony's the man, so I'll stick with Tony.
Playing hard, you'll come through.
Once more, Tony.
They're great.
That's it. Doing your best takes practice and smart eating, like this complete breakfast, including the sweet crunch of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Come on, see if you're any good.
Good, they're great.
Show them your tiger. Show them you can do.
Go on, Tiger.
Taste the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Whoa, brings out the tiger in you.
That was
could there be a more
rad.
90s commercial?
That was rad,
dude.
Yeah.
Oh
awesome.
my god, that was rad. All right, yeah, that is a really good one, Mike. So My number 5. Oh, okay. So I got to go with Mr. Clean. I mean, what a freaking badass. This is the only brand mascot I think could actually kick my ass. He first appeared in 1958, originally created by Procter & Gamble as a tough guy who could tackle the dirtiest cleaning job. He got that iconic. First of all, he's got a bald head, which you got to love a brand mascot with a bald head. White t-shirt, muscular arms folded, the gold hoop earring. Basically, he looks like he should be a Navy SEAL. So he is my number 5. And guys, look at this gem. This is such a good one. We're going way back on this one. Got such a nice little catchy song. Here we go.
Well, hi there, Mr. Clean. Mighty glad to know you. I've got some weekend cleaning jobs. Come in and let me show you. My wife says, Mr. Clean, there's no one who can top you. She's never found a cleaning job that's tough enough to stop you. Let's clean this basement wall. Mr. Clean, you're on the ball. Now clean this brush for me. You're amazing, Mr. C. Let's give the car a try. Mr. Clean, you're quite a guy.
He'll do kitchen sinks, laundry too.
Man, there's nothing you can't do. Thank you, Mr. Clean. You sure did make it easier. The weekend cleaning jobs are done. Now we can have some leisure. Mr.
Wow.
Catchy, very catchy. Very nice.
Don't leave the wife home alone with Mr. Clean.
No, he does. Oh my gosh. And then my number 4, I had a 2 for, you mentioned one of them, Tony the Tiger. Just so good. And definitely, I would say the greatest, most iconic line of any of the mascots with his, they're great. But then I had to throw in another iconic cereal guy, Silly Rabbit, Tricks Are for Kids. Love that rabbit. Launched in 1959 by General Mills. His whole story is just, it's tragic comedy, guys. He's constantly scheming to get the cereal. Kids are always shutting him down. There were a few times when General Mills ran some special campaigns where he actually gets the cereal, but not very often. So that's my number 4, Tony the Tiger and the Tricks Rabbit. All right, what do you got for 3 and 2, Pat?
3, I went with You guys know who that is?
Oh, Pillsbury Doughboy?
Pillsbury Doughboy. Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
yeah,
not much to him. I like the product. You know, the crescent rolls are really good. You could just pop those in the oven. And he's, again, more about longevity here. Been around forever. They're sticking with what works. They're not changing it. The Pillsbury Doughboy.
Crescents have so much butter flavor, they're hard to forget.
Rejects. Full house. Hot crescents. Why? Oh, hot, fresh Pillsbury crescents. Marge baked them last night. Oh. And the buttery flavor. Buttery? Oh. Yeah, they were loaded with buttery flavor. Every one of them.
Like, how many every one of them?
3, 4, 5.
Oh. Try butter-flavored crescents. Fresh and hot.
And Pillsbury says it best.
Yeah.
Gotta love those crescent rolls. Yeah. That's a good one.
And
I figured he'd make the list for sure.
Yeah. Number 2, Colonel Sanders. Good old Colonel.
Oh, God. I forgot about Colonel Sanders. What a great one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big miss on my part. I have no commercial for him. He's a good one. Yeah, he's been around a long time, and
chicken's pretty good, especially after a couple beers. Colonel.
Gotta love that chicken.
Yep.
Good list, man. Look at you. You take a week off, you come back stronger than ever, man. I love it. All right, Mike, what do you got?
All right, number 3, Ronald McDonald. Debuted in 1963. Willard Scott was the first Ronald, and he had played Bozo the Clown before that, so they thought he'd be a good fit. And it returned to advertising actually after 20 years. People didn't know it was not being used, but they didn't use it for 20 years. And they spend McDonald's $4.5 billion a year on advertising. And as an offshoot, the Ronald McDonald House, one of the greatest charities ever, named for the mascot, named for the restaurant. And as a important note, that was started by the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day. First one was here. The general manager of the Eagles decided that families needed a place for sick kids, and Leonard Toews put up the money for it, and now they're all over the world. So Ronald McDonald, iconic mascot.
So Philadelphia is not full of what? Who knew Philadelphia, anyone in Philadelphia had a heart?
I know. They're so caring. They're
cold.
They may throw snowballs at Santa, but they
care about
those kids.
We do.
No, that's a great one. Guys, I'm about to show you one of the most disconcerting commercials I've ever seen in my life. So I'm telling you, just be ready.
Hey, look who's skating. It's Ronald McDonald, the hamburger happy clown. Here he comes. And there he goes.
Well, hi! Isn't that McDonald's hamburger delicious?
Mom told me never to talk to strangers.
Well, your mother's right as always, but I'm Ronald McDonald. Give me a McDonald's shake.
Well, you sound like Ronald.
Here, I'll prove it. I'll give you 3 more hamburgers.
I
know, you're not supposed to accept gifts from strangers either.
But you're no stranger. You really are Ronald McDonald.
Wow.
Oh, man. That's awesome. They spend how much a year on advertising?
Yeah, not enough. Not enough.
Not enough. Holy God. I'm in a Stephen King phase right now, and I just started the book It with the clown in the sewer. Yeah.
Dude, that is a scary book.
Yeah. Clowns
That
are
might
scary.
be his scariest book and movie, honestly. And there's a lot. It is that's a bad one.
All right, number 2. This is going to feel like a homer pick, but I thought we needed to bring it into sports a little bit. I'm going with the Philly Fanatic.
Wow. Okay.
One of only a few sports mascots to have wide recognition. It debuted in April of 1978. The funny story is the GM of the Phillies had the choice. He could pay $5,200 for the costume and the copyright, or just $3,900 for just the costume, and the ad agency kept the copyright. So he picked the lower amount, and then 5 years later, he had to pay $250,000 to buy the copyright when it became such a big hit as a character. He said it was the dumbest decision he's made in his entire life. He was attacked by Tommy Lasorda on national TV. He's the most sued mascot in sports. He was voted the best mascot by Sports Illustrated Kids and named the best mascot by Forbes magazine. And only 3 mascots are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's one. You want to take a shot at the other 2?
San Diego Chicken.
Yep.
Nice.
And a guy named Youppi. I don't know who he is. Youppi.
Upper Peninsula? Detroit?
Youppi. So the Fanatic, Youppi, and the Chicken are all in the Hall of Fame. But it's unusual for a one team's mascot to be nationally recognized, like the Philly Fanatic is. And there are a bunch of teams that don't even have mascots, which I thought was interesting. Like the Yankees and Dodgers in baseball do not have mascots at all. So hard to hit a home run with a mascot, but the Fanatic is as good as they get. That's number 2.
Yeah. Love it. My number 3, I got to go with another food-based mascot for this one. It is the Keebler Elves, who first appeared in 1968. Ernie Keebler is the main elf, leader of the Hollow Tree Bakery crew. The ads always showed the elves in their tree, making cookies by hand, fudge stripes, E.L. fudge, all the classics. Their commercials were funny, magical, cozy. It felt like you could just hang out with them, play games, and eat endless cookies. They made store-bought cookies feel special, like they came from a little secret bakery in the woods. So I love me the Keebler Elves. And then my number 2 is one of the most iconic mascots and public service characters in all of American history. Created in 1944 by the U.S. Forest Service to prevent wildfires. My number 2 is the one and only Smokey Bear. And let's take a look at old Smokey here.
Can't get that McDonald's commercial out of my head.
Yeah.
Haunting.
It only takes a careless moment to turn this into this. Don't Don't let forest fires be your fault. Make sure your fire is dead out.
Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
Oh. I mean, powerful stuff, guys.
Did that say Canadian? Did that say Canadian?
That one was Canadian. He's international, man. He's all over the world.
Dual citizenship.
It is the longest running public service campaign in U.S. history. It's just a great catchphrase with only you can prevent forest fires. It was updated to wildfires in recent years. He's serious. He's memorable. I mean, guys, he is not just selling cookies or selling cereal. He is literally trying to save the planet. So Smokey Bear number 2. All right, Pat, hit us with your number 1.
Oh, my number 1, I went with, oh, hi, everybody. It's me, Mickey Mouse. Ho-ho.
Wow.
Mickey.
You know, I didn't even...
That's my number 1 as well. Yeah.
Is it really? Oh, guys,
Yes.
that's a good one. I didn't even think... Yeah, wow, good one, guys. All right.
You can't beat it. You know, it's
you can beat it because we haven't gotten to my number 1 yet. But
yeah, he has a star on the Walk of Fame, Mickey.
Yeah.
He was only created because Disney animators left the studio because of a budget cut, and so they had to create somebody to replace Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and they came up with Mickey. He's everything. He's a hero. He's a coward. He's a nitwit. He's a genius. He's a gentleman. He's the husband. He's a great guy. And here's the best stat of all. 98% of children aged 3 to 11 in the world recognize him. 98% recognize Mickey Mouse. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely insane.
Wow.
Yeah. So good one, Pat. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
That's 2, Pat.
Mickey's the man. Yeah.
all right, guys,
you got,
this was
Bierman?
such an easy one. It was such an easy one for my top spot. Anyone who can't admit that they love seeing a giant pitcher of Kool-Aid crashing through walls shouting, "Oh, yeah," has no chance of being a friend of mine. I mean, pure joy, chaos. I love this character. He debuted in 1974. Let's just take a look at this wonderful mascot. Here we go.
I could watch old commercials all day, by the way.
Oh, I know. I know.
Wow, I'm hot. And thirsty. This is a job for Kool-Aid. Hey, Kool-Aid!
Yeah, crash bang, full blast Kool-Aid wipes out thirst for you.
Oh, yeah.
Crash a bang a boom with a big bright smile and a fun taste too.
Oh, yeah. Tastes great.
Kool-Aid is great on ice.
Your friend Cool. Kool-Aid brand soft drink mix.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I mean, they just do not make commercials like that anymore. I'm so sad. I'm with
That
you, Pat.
is
I could
the
literally
best.
watch those old. It was fun pulling up a lot of those, a lot of these old ones. So, I gotta show one more. There's a lot I could show more, but there was one other one that I thought was funny.
Snap, crackle, pop. That's cute. Are you referring to my Kellogg's Rice Krispies? Oh, yeah, but don't get me wrong. I know they taste great, but a man needs a breakfast with more horsepower, like good old-fashioned oatmeal.
For your information, Rice Krispies is higher in iron and 8 essential vitamins than your oatmeal.
I mean, it's got horsepower.
Precisely.
Hey, what about Snap, crackle, and pop?
Oh, yes. Come along, gentlemen.
Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Did you guys have any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, Rich Uncle Pennybags from Monopoly. He's
That's a good
the
one.
monocle and dressed up
Yeah.
nice, and I think 2 new ones that are coming on strong. Affleck Duck and Starbucks Mermaid is becoming quite
Oh yeah.
well known.
Yeah, the
as
Affleck
as
Duck
company
is a
mascot.
good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
You're not
it's a lot
going with
of good ones.
Emu?
Nice.
And Doug?
Yeah, that's a
Oh
good pair.
God. Oh, Doug. Yeah. Doug. That's a good one. Yeah. A couple others. I was a little surprised nobody mentioned Spuds McKenzie. I thought that might be one. And then, I mean, one of the most iconic ones, I think, is the Budweiser Clydesdales. Thought about them. Energizer Bunny. That's a big one.
Yeah.
The Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile's a good one. I for some reason, I don't know why, I really thought Pat was going to do the Jolly Green Giant. It was etched in my head that you were going to do
I'm pretty sure that's a Minnesota company too.
Yeah.
Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah.
It's from Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a good one, guys. Okay. Best brand mascots of all time. Well done. All right, guys. Well, let's unfortunately, I think it is time to end this show. I do want to thank you both. Pat, my friend, I missed you. So great to have you back. And Mike, appreciate you stepping in once again. Next week, we should have our original trio all back together. So that will be nice. As always, thank you to Sandman Nation for tuning in. We appreciate and love you. Be sure to check us out at sandmansports.com and follow us on social media. Sadly, it is now time to exit Sandman Sports. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the games. Peace out and take care.